What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today I want to get into a little bit of a discussion on withdrawal cards. I think withdrawal cards are an important tool for any union to use to make sure that management doesn't make their way into the room. There's a lot of unions out there that do not enforce their withdrawal card policy, and they don't enforce that separation between management and worker. And what winds up happening is that you end up with contractors being able to, through their superintendents and through their foremen and through their project managers and whatnot, to have their own representation going into union meetings in order to make decisions that affect the union members. And it's really not the way it's supposed to be. It wasn't the way that unions were set up. Unions were set up as an opposition force to help, because management was always abusing the relationship. Back in the day, there used to be a thing called company unions, where in order to try to keep a labor force from becoming unionized, a company would say, okay, we'll set up a union. And management would have a role in that union. And what ended up happening was that nothing would change, because management would put their fingers on the scales and the workers never really had power. So when the Wagner Act was passed, they abolished company unions, and they drew a line in the sand between management and worker. And management was not to have a say in what goes on in the unions of the workers. And so I want to talk about withdrawal cards, because that is a tool that we have in the IBEW to be able to redraw that line in the sand that over the decades has been kicked over and brushed over, and now you can't even see the line anymore. And so we go to Article 24 from the IBEW Constitution, and it talks about withdrawal cards, both participating and honorary. And if you look at Section 1, it says, any member who becomes an electrical employer, a partner in an electrical employing concern, a general manager, or any other managerial position, or who retires from the trade, may apply to the financial secretary for a withdrawal card. It shall require a majority vote at a meeting to grant such a card. The last sentence of Section 1 is important, because it also says, but the local union has the right to require such a member to take out a withdrawal card if it so decides. That last sentence says it straight up. It is not a violation of the Constitution if a journeyman, for instance, gets promoted within a company that they've worked for a while and gets promoted to a position of project manager, or gets promoted to a position of a superintendent. It's within the right of the local union to have that member shelve their card and take a withdrawal card. It's within the right of the local union. When you don't shelve that card, once that journeyman becomes a superintendent, their interests change, because now they ally with management. Even though they were good brothers as journeymen, now their financial interests align with the managerial aspect of the relationship. And so it's not unfair to say, hey, I love you, please be a good superintendent and uphold these values, but I have to ask you to withdraw your card, because we can't have management in the room when we're discussing business. We just can't. So do me a solid, let's get that withdrawal card put in. There's nothing wrong with that. And it says so right here in the Constitution, Section 1, Article 24, page 74, for anyone who wants to read it. Section 2 then goes on to say, any member receiving a participating withdrawal card and desiring to maintain their standing in the IBEW shall deposit the duplicate portion of the withdrawal card in the IO and pay their per capita tax in advance to the International Secretary Treasurer, to all benefits of the IBEW as well as any IO assessments, and they shall be entitled to all benefits of the IBEW as long as they comply with the laws and maintain their continuous good standing. The participating withdrawal card shall not entitle the holder to any local union benefits or admittance to any local union meeting. Upon returning to the trade, the recipient of this card shall deposit it in the local union which issued it, and no member on participating withdrawal is entitled to notice of any payments due to the IO. So there is a way to shelve your card, work that job, and then if you decide that you don't like it, it's not for you, and you want to go back to being a German, you come back and you take your card off the shelf. And there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. I think it's important because, like I said, what happens is something important will be going down. The word will get to our NICA partners, and those superintendents will send their foreman and whoever their foreman can round up to the union meeting to vote a certain way. And on those days when something important is going on, you'll see contractor trucks all up and down the parking lot, and you don't see that at every meeting. And then when you're talking to these brothers in the union hall, you'll start to find out that they don't even know why they're there. They were asked to go there to vote no on a particular issue, and this happens all over the place. And so it's important that we draw that line back in the sand and say, listen, I love you. I am proud of you for advancing the ladder and doing better for yourself. That's amazing. I hope you continue to be a good brother, a good sibling, and be a good partner by withdrawing your card and showing me that you respect the relationship and that we'll continue as siblings in this relationship. You're on the managerial side now. That's great. I have a friend in management. We're still labor. So keep it cordial, keep it loving, and let's do the right thing. Unfortunately, that's not what happens. And when you're waiting for somebody to do it voluntarily, sometimes it's not even because they're doing it maliciously. They just don't know that that's something that they should do because they haven't been told, because we're not taught how to be a good union brother and sister. We're taught how to be a good electrician. But there's so much to this thing than just being a good electrician. We can't have a strong union unless we're a union that is full of solidarity and full of folks that are beyond good electricians, that are good siblings, that look out for each other and do the right thing. And like I always tell you guys, the youth gives me hope because they see the game. And unfortunately, some folks my age, they're a little slow to realize what's going on. But I have so much faith in tomorrow. I have so much hope for tomorrow that I am certain we are moving in the right direction and we're heading towards a better future. We're doing it across trades. There's cross-trade solidarity going on. There's cross-industry solidarity. The view and opinion of the public on unions is through the roof. We just have to continue on the fight and be an example to those who don't know how to do this, because everybody deserves a union. Everybody deserves dignity at work. Everybody deserves to have a network that they can fall back on when times get hard. That's what unions are all about. So let's build the strongest union that we can and continue to work towards that. My name's Eric. Remember that the fight's not left and right. It never was. It's a game that they play on us. It's up and it's down. It's going to take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one. Get out there and reach one. And remember, there can be no union without you and I front and center. Let's go.